My name is Annie Pinkerton.
And I'm Joe Petrosky.
And this is Joe's Boogie Time News.
Tonight we will be discussing many events that happened during World War II.
We will start with the D-Day invasion.
Hello, my name is Mark Latour, and it's been nearly 67 years since the invasion of D-Day, which was a turning point in the war, shifting the advantage into the Allies' favor. On June 6, 1944, American and British forces were on standby to begin the invasion. But the task ahead was not going to be easy. Adolf Hitler was aware of an invasion that could take place around the area, months prior to the invasion. He gave Erwin Rommel the task of defense operations in the region. When the Atlantic Wall was complete, 2,400,000 miles of bunkers, landmines, and water obstacles ran down the beaches. 5,000 ships and landing crafts carrying troops and supplies left England for the trip across the Channel to France. When arriving, the Allied force met heavy resistance at the Omaha beach. 156,000 Allied troops successfully stormed Normandy's beaches, but were met by the wrath of the German Nazis. The battle would fill the area with bombs going off, men screaming, bullets filling the air. According to some estimates, more than 4,000 Allied troops lost their lives in the D-Day invasion, with thousands more wounded or missing. Allies seized vital ports, and a little less than a week later, on June 11th, were able to land approximately 850,000 men and 150,000 vehicles in Normandy, and were poised to continue their march across France. Because of the men who lost their lives and those who were able to continue in the war, they contributed to the victory of the war that was slowly on the horizon. Back to Annie and Joe. 2, 1.
Thanks, Marco, for that information.
Now we're going to Mike's info on Pearl Harbor.
Hey, my name is Mike. On the morning of December 7th, 1942, Japanese warplanes attacked the American naval base at Pearl Harbor on the Hawaiian Island. During the attack, there were about 2,000 American soldiers and sailors that died. About 1,000 were wounded. The day after the assault, President Franklin D. Roosevelt asked Congress to declare war on the Japanese. 3 days later, after the attack on Pearl Harbor, Japanese allies, Germany and Italy, declared war on the United States. The day after President Roosevelt delivered his famous infamy speech and signed a formal declaration of war against the Empire of Japan. The causes of the attack on Pearl Harbor stemmed from intensifying American rivalry in the Pacific. The attack led to the United States' entry into World War II.
Tonight we will be having an exclusive special with our sister station, Kramer's Boogie Time News.
We will be having a debate on the decision to bomb Nagasaki and Hiroshima or not.
Our two experts include one of our own, Joe, from Joe's Boogie Time News, and their very own Kramer from Kramer's Boogie Time News.
And now let's get started.
Alright, I feel that the bombing was a good idea because many American lives were saved because of that reason.
No, that bombing was as bad an idea as you playing basketball.
Kramer, let's not get out of hand. The bombings was a serious thing that saved many POWs and American lives.
It prevented the Japanese attack on U.S. soil, but at what cost? The casualties were upward near 200,000 people and had nothing to do with the war.
True, many people were killed due to the bombs, but the bombing was revenge for the attack of Pearl Harbor. More than 2,000 American soldiers and sailors died in the battle.
The casualties at Pearl Harbor were nothing compared to the casualties at Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Their backs were against the walls, and Pearl Harbor was a tragedy, but it didn't justify killing 200,000 people.
Yeah, some of what you said was interesting, but some people needed saving from the bomb. Richard Gordon was a POW that spent most of his time in the Japanese internment camp. Throughout his time there, he lived through brutal conditions. Gordon said that if they had invaded Japan, the POWs would have been killed because the guards would have had to be on the front lines. If it wasn't for the bombs, he would have been killed.
Are we risking POWs' lives by dropping an atomic bomb in Japan? Wouldn't a more orchestrated attack lead to less innocent deaths? The bombs obliterated all signs of life and made the land unlivable. Trees and flowers couldn't grow, and radiation made it unbearable.
The total amount of people in the orchestrated attacks, that could have been the same amount of people as killed as in the bomb.
Could have been. Here's the facts, boy. Almost 200,000 people did die in the bombings, and we could have avoided a tragedy. Your roasts are as bad as your shooting percentage.
Kramer, you're one of those kids that really want to play basketball for school but really can't. Because your skills are inadequate.
Alright, I think it's time for a commercial break. Thank you all for coming in. We appreciate it. Hi, welcome back. We are here with an expert on the rise of fascism who can give us some information on this topic. Alright, on to our first question. Where did fascism start?
Mussolini started the Fascist Party in Italy. He was then expelled from the Socialist Party in 1915, and then he went to fight in World War II. He was injured and returned to Italy and started a new political party, the Fascist Party.
Alright, next question. When did fascism start?
After World War I, many people were disappointed and angry because the war destroyed a lot of their country or because some of their land was taken away from them.
Alright, moving on. Why did fascism begin?
Fascist governments controlled the way people lived. Those who criticized the government or did not obey were punished. They must then leave the country, go to prison, or often be executed.
Another question. Why did fascism become so powerful?
The situation in Japan was similar. The economy was in bad condition, and people had little to eat. Many Japanese wanted the military to take over the government and Japan to be a strong country again. In the 1930s, Japan started expanding its power. It hated other Asian countries and wanted all of the Asian under Japanese control.
Thank you so much for your insight and knowledge. We appreciate your time.
No problem.
I've been 67 years since the invasion. Hi, my name is Eddie Pinkerton, and I'm Jill Petrowski. And this is Joe's Boogie Time News. Tonight, we will be starting with many events that happened in World War II.
If Cindy keeps interrupting us, we
Okay.
better take 30 minutes.
Just drop one.
2.
You have to cut. We have to do that. You have to cut that part out and put it. Okay.
I'm all
All
ready.
right. Hi, my name is Annie Pinkerton,
And I'm Joe Petrowski.
and this is Joe's Boogie Time News.
Tonight we will talk about many events that happened during
Josie's
World War II.
looking at me in the background.
Stop!